Hello and welcome to Up the Villa podcast. So if you're new and you are watching, if we have got anybody that's going to watch this video, please subscribe. Coming off the back of a 2-0 loss against Spurs. For me, started it pretty good. We were well in the game. I thought it was quite an even game to start with. We had a decent foothold in it. And then that catastrophe of an error that just led to that goal just knocked us for six, really, and we just didn't recover since. We never had a grip on the midfield once that goal went in, and we got gradually worse as the game went on. And it was sort of the same pattern of what we've seen in previous games, really. I don't really know what to say. I'll bring Ryan in. What do you make of that, Ryan?
Well, if you need a win, come play the Villa. If your striker needs a goal, come play the Villa. If you're in a relegation battle and you need points, come and play the Villa. Oh, it's just always the Villa, isn't it? Yeah, I was buzzing for the game today. I thought Sunday, prime time Villa, we'd won every single game on a Sunday. But disappointing night. Quality in the final third, shocking. Set pieces, absolutely shocking. I was screaming at the telly for them corners. 0 attempts on goal first half, shocking. Trezeguet, shocking. Mistakes from our most consistent players, Martinez, Cass, shocking. Oh, and our record at home to Spurs, shocking. Just a bit bitterly disappointing night, really. And it was just such a stale and uninspiring performance. I'm gutted. We desperately need a result from somewhere, and we desperately need our captain back.
I mean, so many points, what you've just said, a bang on, really. The set pieces, Traore's one when that first player, crap, weren't it? Just no bite. Is there? I was listening to after they started their first half, and obviously the commentators Neville and that were picking up on how bad they were at the back, and he mentioned that if your keeper's bad, second is if your centre backs are bad. I feel like we're bad in the middle. Do you know what I mean? Like we've got a big problem in central midfield. I think, and I think we touched on it in the preview. We haven't got a clue what our best central midfield is, have we? We have no clue on what's going on in there. And I thought we was all right the first 20 minutes, and we had a bit of a grip on midfield. And then all of a sudden, gone. We were second to every single ball. We were just non-existent in the middle. I mean, everyone's been crying out for Sanson, but it wasn't until the second half when he started making a few runs on that left-hand side that he started to look dangerous. I thought the game bypassed him. You never saw him for 55 minutes, really. Justin, what did you make of it?
Basically, the same as what you lot are saying, really. It was really, really poor night. It's been what we've been for the last few weeks, unfortunately. Our form has been gradually getting worse. We've touched on it in previous pods and reviews, and midfield is non-existent, like you've just said, and it's not looking like it's getting any better anytime soon. There's no creativity. Final ball's bad. The worrying thing now is that teams are playing us, and they haven't even got to play particularly well now to beat us or get a point out of us. So that's quite concerning. We don't seem to be able to get up for a game at the moment, and we don't seem to be able to get back into a game when we go behind. The lack of confidence in the team at the moment is really concerning. We've got nothing really to change it, although I do think Davis and Barkley did okay when they came on. I'm not saying they were brilliant, but Davis did at least put himself about a bit and did create a chance for Barkley. I thought they were a bit harsh on him with the finish. I thought he did try and steady himself and try and pick a spot, but the defender just covered it. It's just a shame to see such a great start to the season that we've had, up to just before the halfway point, just ebb away now. And that's what's happening. We're just basically disappearing off into the distance. We're becoming a team where people are just not that bothered about us anymore. And it's a shame because we all know we're a good side when we play well, but unfortunately we're a good side with Jack Grealish in it. Without Jack Grealish in it, we're a pretty average side, especially when people aren't playing well. If people aren't playing well and he's not in the team, then we're a poor side, I'm afraid to say it. There's one or two that are just about holding their heads above water. I thought Konsa played very well again tonight. He's just Rolls Royce of a defender, isn't he? And like Ryan said, they're our two most consistent players at the back, Cash and Emmy. They're the ones that cost us the 2 goals. So it is all going very badly wrong at the moment. But we have still got to try and keep positive. We have still got to think that this isn't, the end of the road for us. We're halfway through, well, nearly 3/4 way through our second season back in the Premier League. First season, we nearly went down last game. The second season, we're going to be mid-table. Regardless of what happens in the last 10 games, we're going to be around the mid-table mark. So we'd have all took that. I know it's the old adage, we'd have all took that at the start of the season. And currently, it's hard to say that because we are playing so badly wrong. But the owners will know it. The board will know it. The coaches all know what we need to do in the summer. Let's go away. We've got a 2-week break now, international break. Forget everything that's gone on before it. Bit like last season when we had that COVID break, and we came back and we were brilliant to stay up. We've got nothing to worry about going down, so let's regroup. Jack sounds like he'll be back for Fulham. The owners know they've got to invest in the summer, so we've got 10 games to have a real good go at the end of the season. So it's not all over for me. We're going to have a good end to the season, hopefully, and we've had a good season overall. Overall, you have to look at the whole, not. Yes, the last 4 or 5 games have been bitterly disappointing from everybody's point of view, and I'm sure they're going to have to work very hard to try and get it right. But overall, we've had a pretty decent season.
Yeah, and I think that's just what makes it even more frustrating, doesn't it? We have done pretty decent, but again, the season didn't end at Christmas, did it?
No.
So
it's falling apart, isn't it? That's the problem. It's falling apart.
The issue I've got with it, and I'm looking at as a football fan, as a fan channel that will react to a game that we've won, we've lost, we've drew, is for me, and listeners of this podcast will know, at around January time, I said don't want us to end up like Crystal Palace, who have a good start to the season and end up dropping like a lead balloon. And I'm sorry. And that was in the back of my mind. I didn't want to happen. So it was just a subconscious thing. That is what is happening. We're getting worse. And we are night and day from the team that destroyed Liverpool, that destroyed Arsenal. We're on a different level at the minute. And for me, I just don't know why. Seb.
Yeah, I mean, the boys have summed it up perfectly. I think at the moment we're a bit like a bagel. We're quite good in attack, we're quite good in defence, but we've just got nothing in the middle at the moment. I mean, Villa without Grealish is like Morecambe without Wise. It's like Ant without Deck. It's like Luke without his retro football shirts. There's just nothing. There's nothing there to offer. And seeing him sat in the stands is even more painful because he's going through the same thing that we're going through as fans. It's like breaking up with your ex and still living at the house. It's really painful for us to see him there and have to go through the same thing that we're going through. We're in a difficult patch at the moment. I mean, I'm not for any second making excuses for our awful performances recently. Every team goes through difficult patches. I mean, Man City at the start of the season, they look as though they're going to win the league by a country mile now. They look unstoppable. They could do the quadruple. But at the start of the season, people were questioning Guardiola and they were saying, has his time come to an end? Has he run out of ideas? Every single team in the league goes through a bad run of form, and it's just a shame that we're going through that now, but we look so abject in our performances. Yeah, that's pretty much it, really. I mean, our home record for Spurs speaks for itself. My first ever game for Villa, watching Villa, was at Spurs, so you know, I'm probably to blame for that one, so sorry, boys. But everyone that watches the podcast regularly knows that we pride ourselves on being a positive channel, bringing a positive outlook to anything related to Villa. But if they can see our facial expressions tonight, they know that that's just not the case because we're not being provided with the performances that can enhance that. And it's really difficult coming on and having to talk after the players give such an abject performance. It's really difficult to take at the moment, but I'm sure it will come soon.
I'll give you one positive. Ezri Konsa, absolute quality. How he's not in the England team is beyond me because he looked every inch a class defender tonight.
And what's Dyer doing on the bench for Spurs?
He'll be on the bench for England as well.
I don't get it though. I don't get it. I'll echo what Seb says as well. You know, we are very, very positive, and maybe I've been a bit negative tonight, but
For good reasoning. For good reasoning.
yeah, but I just feel like we just it's just really frustrating. I just feel like we've just lost a bit of a grip on what we are and where we are, and like Justin says, hopefully this little international break can do us good to regroup. Hopefully Jack's back. But what I do think it maybe is a positive is it is showing us what we do need to improve on in the summer and the areas that we do definitely need to improve on. Definitely. I think Traoré, I like Traoré. We know he's blockbuster at times, but on the other wing, I think we need a new winger. We need options up front, don't we? We need another creative player in the middle. That's the highlighting areas that we need to improve. The bench, obviously, the bench is still very, very weak, isn't it? Does anyone want to add anything else tonight?
I think, to be honest, there's nothing wrong with seeing the game as we see it, which, you know, we can't, none of us are blind. It was a poor performance and we've had some very poor performances. But I just think there's nothing wrong also with still being positive because, you know, not that long ago, we were sitting mid-table in the Championship, and I know it gets dragged out every time we lose a game, you know, and, you know, it's very easy to say that. Daniel Atkinson, you know, it's the anniversary of his death today. And, you know, I was looking back at all of his goals, and I was very lucky to go home and away during that period. And it was only when we started dropping like a stone and had them 10 awful seasons, you actually look back and think, Jesus Christ, we had some brilliant times following the Villa, some fantastic results, some fantastic achievements. And we're now currently on the curve of going up again now. We are, what everybody says, what anybody says after this defeat tonight, we are back on the rise again as a club. We all know that. So let's not get too bogged down with a few bad performances because our owners won't allow it to fester. The management team won't allow it to fester. And Jack Grealish won't allow it to fester. He's one of us. He's a Villa fan. He will not sit there and take what's happening to us lightly. He will be busting a gut to get back, and he will bust in a gut to absolutely smash Fulham to smithereens after the break and hopefully take us on the path back.
Seb's going to be... Oh, that's going to upset Seb with Farker.
Justin's right though. You know, it's painful, and the game finished minutes ago, didn't it? So we're going to have a slight bit of negative reaction because it was a real poor performance. But you step back and you look at the bigger picture, and we are going places. And I'm sure we will not be having these type of performances next season.
But the thing is,
sorry. I would much rather lose the odd game or go through the odd bad run during a season in the Premier League than have 10 years of decline that we had not that long ago. And that's what we'll have. And we're going to have that every season. Like Seb said, every team goes through it. We're going through a lull at the moment. That's all that's happening. It's a lull.
And for me, my only ever frustration comes from is because I know we're a lot better than this. This is the thing with me. You know, we've got levels that we can get to and what we've seen this season. So for me, it's just a bit disappointing when, you know, like they were there for the taking, weren't they, Spurs today? Really, they were there for the taking, and we didn't take it. And I feel like we could have put that hoodoo of that home record to bed and against Spurs, and, you know, set another record straight. But, you know, unfortunately, we didn't do that today. So obviously, we announced that we're going to be covering the Euros. So we're going to kick it off this week with a preview to the international 3 fixtures. We're going to be discussing England, how we feel our chances are in the Euros and World Cup qualification. So something totally different to look forward to, which is going to be coming out this week. So thanks for watching, and up the Villa.
Up the Villa, keep the faith.
Up the Villa.